Hello and namaste, my dear friends. I am Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of March the 3rd, 2025. Now, this month is shaping up to be one of the more dramatic months of the whole year, as it features many tidal shifts in the energy. I know February felt like a lot. March will really put it all into perspective. And we will see some of the tidal wave of change coming that is all of these planets clustered in the sign of Pisces and dancing back and forth with the cusp of Aries or entering into Aries. So it's a busy astrological week, but probably one of the calmest for the entire month. So keep that in mind as you are moving through your week. Pace yourself for this month. There are several aspects indeed also that could just be making you exhausted. It's not just the news cycle. It's not just the challenges we are facing as humans due to the choices of leadership. All right, I'm going to take a deep breath. All right, let's get into the week, okay? On the 3rd, I want you to kind of remember we've got to set the scene. Sunday, when you're watching this, the moon is void all day. All day. It voids out at 8:52 on the 2nd and does not go into the next sign and make contact with another planet until the 3rd at 5:37 a.m. Eastern. So adjust that for your time zone. But this is a very untethered kind of feeling, right? This moon void. At the same time, we are freshly in the Venus retrograde cycle. She paused on Monday or on Saturday. She paused and began her backwards journey through the beginning of Aries, and she'll slip back into Pisces later this month. And then we have Mercury still moving forward, but also in its shadow of its retrograde. And it, in fact, enters into Aries on Monday. So Venus is in Aries and Mercury is in Aries, and they're both in this kind of amplified power, but more erratic power due to the retrograde motions. Now, what is the quality of Aries? Aries is ruled by Mars. It's an energy of action and youth and vitality and enthusiasm, but also anger and war and arguments and immaturity. So these are all things that we will see themes related to. And we'll also need to really watch that part of our soul. You know, we all have every sign in us in some way. And so especially when Mercury gets into Aries, it's going to want to say something about what it's thinking. It's going to want to express what its passions are and what its desires are and what it feels its moral values are, because there it is with Venus in Aries as well. So you've got to make sure that you take a breath before you speak. This is really important. You have to really make sure you run it through the is it helpful, is it true kind of filter. Also, beware being agitated by what other people say. Have the strength of mind, strength of self, and strength of compassion to understand when it's useful to say something and when it's not. All right? So feel into that. The other thing to pay attention to as we launch the week is that we have Neptune still standing in the sky with the North Node. The North Node, like the volume turned way up the dragon's head, emphasizing that Neptunian quality, which clearly humanity is not managing with the best skill in most cases. On the 4th, Neptune goes to 29 degrees, the very final degree. It's the end of the zodiac. And it will continue this march through the minutes of that degree until it arrives in Aries on March the 30th. This is going to be dramatic. I know you've heard me talk a lot about it. And, it was all about Pluto and Aquarius. Now it's all about Neptune and Aries and Saturn and Aries. And I know it gets a little overwhelming, but these are the things that can help us to understand the moment that we're in and how serious it is, because these patterns repeat. All right. I also want to, as a happy little side note, mention that right around the 4th, Saturn in Pisces begins to pick up a sextile, a little luck blessing aspect to Uranus in Taurus. I am so happy to see this aspect. It actually comes into play around this time, and then it is functioning all through the month. It doesn't exactly perfect until we get to early April. But this connection between Saturn and Uranus gives me a spark of hope for magical synchronicities, for blessings, for potentials here. So I would really lean into the natural world where Uranus is going through Taurus. Lean into nature, lean into the wisdom of the cycles and the trees and the plants and the animals. Lean into that in order to manage this energy. Get outside, put your phone down, and just really tune in to the potentials that are there. This will give more of an understanding of how synchronistic things work, and that magical thinking can be really helpful and useful. See the miracles when they happen, acknowledge them, and the more you see them, the more you'll see that they happen a lot. All right. I'm also kind of thinking, I like this Mercury movement into Aries as it picks up a sextile to Pluto. Anything that's going to go into early Aries is immediately going to pick up a sextile to Pluto. Now, this is going to be an interesting little dance because Mercury's going to do it. Venus has already done it. Venus is going to back into it again. She'll have the third time's a charm. Mercury will have a third time's a charm. The Sun will also sextile to Pluto. So this is visionary. This is forward thinking. This is a glimpse into the future. And even if it's a future that you don't particularly like, this will give you an idea of what is coming so that you can be prepared and or you can change it. Okay. And then another nice thing that begins to build later in the week is the sun moves into a trine with Mars. So Mars is moving forward, right? Finally getting some traction, finally beginning to move forward in the sign of Cancer. And so the sun connecting beautifully with Mars, this could really give us an intuitive sense of where to go or what direction to take, because they're both in water signs. It might not be obvious. It might not be, I always joke, I always say that I wish that the universe had a scroll. It would drop down out of the sky and it would say, Jill, do this. Okay. But that's not how it works. It works through signs and symbols and promptings and dreams and understandings that come not just from what you read, or not just from what you see, but from what you feel and intuit and know in your deep inner self. So this is some aid, some help and assistance as well, from the Pisces area of life over to the Cancerian area of life. Now, keep in mind also, the sun is getting closer at the end of the week. It's getting closer to Saturn. And so you might be really tired. Sun-Saturn can be exhausting, especially in Pisces, because it's so kind of subliminal and deep. So we've got to really take care of ourselves, get extra sleep if needed, spend time in water or near water. That can be really healing and helpful. And also understand if you become overwhelmed or melancholy or downright depressed about the state of things, reach out and talk to a friend. Don't just numb out in whatever way you might typically do that. Really try to wade through this deep water skillfully, because there is something on the other side. Okay, but yeah. So as far as the light of the week, the Mercury sextile to Pluto, I think that could be really visionary. It could really give you an idea of what to do next. I'm also loving the Saturn-Uranus sextile. Again, sextiles give opportunities. It doesn't just like open right up, okay? But the door presents itself and you get the urge to open it. So look for those opportunities this week. I also, at the very end of the week, Sun will start to vibe very nicely with Mars. actually midweek. Midweek, the Sun and Mars are connecting nicely, so I like that as well. Mars finally getting some positive support here. I do like both of those aspects. As far as the shadow, well, Neptune going to 29, I think it might really show us some peak delusion, and that bubble will unfortunately pop, I think, at the end of the month. So just be very aware. Also, all three personal planets in their retrograde or shadow, people often will say, oh, if it's retrograde, then it's just not very strong. No, they're actually stronger. They're closer to the Earth mathematically during these times. And so it's just erratic. It's just erratic. And so there's going to be some high highs, some low lows, and definitely some surprises that come from these. So it's hard to kind of know how it's all going to shake out. And then the Sun getting close to Saturn, yeah, I mean, I think all this Pisces energy is already kind of exhausting, but it's my 6th house of daily life and health, so that explains a lot for me. But, it can be heavy. It can feel very sad and heavy. So try to find the light this week. Try to set up good daily habits. Have your gratitude list, listing 3 things you're grateful for every day with no repeats. And be an adult. Be an adult. There's a term in yoga and Hinduism and Eastern thought called dharma. Dharma is your soul's purpose and responsibility. The dharma of the mother is to raise their child to independence. The dharma of the gardener is to tend the plants. Whatever you identify with as far as who you are, if I identify as an American, as a woman, as a mother, as a daughter, as a king, what is your dharma? What is your responsibility? Do it and let go of the result. That's all there is to it. It sounds very simple, but it's not. All right, my beautiful friends. I wish you a marvelous week. Drop a comment below. It helps to grow the channel. And I'll be super intrigued to see what the tarot has to say about this week. Hello, my beautiful friends. Namaste. And let's take a look at the Isis Lotus Tarot for the week of March the 3rd, 2025. And I just rewatched the video I filmed and thought, geez, Jill, you're struggling. It's true. I can't believe what happened yesterday in the United States with President Zelensky. I'm just distraught is the understatement. Because I know what comes next, man. All right, so Isis Lotus Tarot spread gives us 2 ways to work with the energy of the week. So I'm reading for the collective. I always like to confirm that, so it's not just about me. A lot of shuffling here. All right, so the first card is where we're coming from. 3 of Wands. So we've made some progress. And then you are being appreciated. 6 of Wands. So there's some visibility here. Some, you're being really seen in some way or recognized. Now the environment brings us a crossroads of types. 2 of Wands, a decision that needs to be made. Which always reminds us, right? By not making a choice, you make a choice. And as these energies culminate, we have the 8 of Cups. There's something that we have to just leave everything on the floor and move away from. Doesn't matter how much time or energy we've put into it, it is time to move on. Now, the key card of the future, Wheel of Fortune. This time period in humanity is very karmic. You're here for a purpose, all right? So the wheel is turning. And opposing forces in play. 1, the Hermit. So you might need some time for alone time, introspection, and meditation. Or 3 of Cups, really focusing on the positive. Now, the near future detail. The key card of the future is the Page of Wands. Something new will need to be initiated. Now, on the Hermit side, the Magician is here to remind you have everything you need. On the 3 of Cups side, the Judgment card is here, which indicates another important decision being made. With the Hermit and the Magician, the King of Cups is here. So King energy is very directive, decisive, but this is the emotionally intelligent king. This is the king who listens to his intuition. With the 3 of Cups and Judgment, we have the Queen of Swords. This is a card of rationality, of logic, of speaking the truth, of being very analytical. Now, 2 possible outcomes or progressions for the week. On the Hermit side, we've got a 9 of Cups, which means there could be some good news. On the 3 of Cups side, we have the Conflict card, 5 of Wands. Paired with the 9 of Cups on the Hermit side, the Moon. There's more to something than meets the eye. And over here with the 3 of Cups side and the 5 of Wands, we have the Sun. The ability to shine, the ability to really embody your own gifts, talents, essence, and skills. Well, I feel like this is a pretty hopeful spread, right? I mean, we're moving in the right direction, right? We've already started making some decisions based on what's going on, okay? And people are appreciating who you are and what you're doing. But then there's a crossroads that you're coming to, right? And at that crossroads, you need to let something go. You need to move away from something. Now, very, very karmic beginnings here, all right? And so we're either the Hermit, we are withdrawing, we're kind of centering our energy. And then when the new thing starts, the Page of Wands brings that idea of how we're going to initiate moving forward. We have to remember that we'll be successful, and we need to tune into our intuition but be directive. We need to lean into positive thinking and abundance, but also be aware that there is much more happening behind the scenes than we know. Neptune at 29 in Pisces, it's just unbelievable. And then over here, I've got Page of Wands. We've got the 3 of Cups, emotional abundance, another major decision which we will need to be very rational about. And we might feel conflicted about the situation, but we have to remember who we are. To remember what we're here for. What is Dharma? What is our purpose? What are your skills? Offer those skills to resolve this issue or problem. All right, my friends, I wish you the most marvelous week, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.